Hey guys, how you doing? Derek here from M1 Realty, and welcome back to my long-awaited St. Clair Shores waterfront video. I'm going to try not to bore you with too many facts and figures, although I do have a few, so bear with me on that. But just want to kind of highlight what makes St. Clair Shores and living on the water, specifically in St. Clair Shores, so cool and unique among all the areas of Metro Detroit. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I was able to goad one of my friends and clients, Captain Shane, into meeting me at the Lake St. Clair boat launch in St. Clair Shores. That is open to residents only. It's $10 to launch your boat. Really cool facility. It's right behind City Hall. And if you are a non-resident and you're looking for a place to launch your boat, there is a city-owned boat launch along 9 Mile where non-residents can launch their boats, but all the other city-owned sites are for residents only, but there are plenty of options if you're a non-resident to launch your boat into Lake St. Clair. That's not a problem. So here we are getting out onto the water through the canal along the boat launch. And as we head up a little further towards the lake, we're going to get out onto the lake and start heading north. We'll start talking about the area between City Hall and Memorial Park, and then we'll head south from there. All right, and as we head north along Lake St. Clair shoreline towards Memorial Park, you'll see that as we go, there's quite a few canals north of City Hall towards the north end of town. Not as many as are on the south end, but there's quite a few. And a little bit about Lake St. Clair. It is on the Great Lakes system if you're not familiar with it, although it's not considered a Great Lake itself. It connects Lake Huron and Lake Erie. It's kind of halfway between. The total surface area, though, of Lake St. Clair is 430 square miles. So if you're from St. Clair Shores, you can't really see Canada on the other side of the lake, but it is obviously the border. The border between the United States and Canada runs right through the middle of the lake there. So even though the total surface area is only 430 square miles, the average depth's only 11 feet, aside from like the shipping channel in the middle of the lake, and it is the home to the largest river delta on the Great Lakes system. And then specific to St. Clair Shores, even though the city itself is only about 6 miles from south to north, there's actually 14 miles of shoreline along Lake St. Clair because obviously the lake doesn't travel in a straight line. And St. Clair Shores itself has 28,365 housing units, but of those, only 307 are lakefront and only 793 are on canals. So combined, the number of waterfront homes in St. Clair Shores is only 0.039% of the total available homes in the city. And what you can see here, what we're coming up to is Champagne Park, which is just a little tiny like pocket park that's at the end of 12 Mile. It's like right at 12 Mile and Jefferson. So it's really cool, I think, in St. Clair Shores. They have so many little spots along the lake, and there's even a few little lakefront lots. It's the coolest thing. There's like a couple streets like Detour and Euclid come to mind on the north end of town, where there's a lot on the water that's just too narrow to build a house on. So somebody from one of those streets purchased the lot, and then anybody that lives on those two streets has access to walk in and use it for whatever they want. There's picnic tables. I think there's a little fire pit. It's just a cool little community feature. But as we kind of go north from 12 Mile to Masonic area, which is where Memorial Park is, there's some just really, really nice homes. This is like kind of the main part of town where there's some just really stately homes on the lake, and some of them are older, like almost 100 years old, and kind of interspersed in that is a lot of new construction as well, and kind of everything in between. It's pretty nice. It's a really good spot. It's very desirable. And then this is just indicative of the type of home that you can expect. I think these are condos right here, but there's just this is north of 12. This is between 12 and 13 Mile, right along Jefferson. right on the lake here, and there's just gorgeous homes. So most of them are equipped with docks and seawalls and the whole 9 yards, so you can just park your boat right in your backyard and then hop in the lake and go. So right now the lake levels are still relatively high. I think they peaked out a few years ago, like 2021. I think 2022, the lake levels were as high as they're gonna get for a long time. I think the Great Lakes is like a 30-year cycle. So now we're kind of heading down. But even when the water levels are low, the lake is still deep enough to keep your boat right on the lake there. So and then we head north. We're gonna head towards Memorial Park. And as we keep heading north, we're gonna stop the northern end of this tour at Memorial Park. I guess technically Veterans Memorial Park, but that's one of the best known parks in St. Clair Shores. It's just a really nice park. If you might remember, if you've seen the last video I did on St. Clair Shores, I actually did spent a few minutes at Memorial Park talking about it. It's a really great facility. It's right on the lake. In the summertime, they have a band shell there, so they'll have bands. That's where they do the fireworks on the 4th of July. Really, really nice area. That is for residents only. But you can get if you're a resident of St. Clair Shores, you get a park pass right at City Hall and have access to it. It's a really, really nice facility and looks just as good from the water as it does from the ground. All right, so now that we've kind of explored Memorial Park and the north end of town a little bit, it goes a little bit further north than that, but not much till you hit Harrison Township. We're going to start heading south and kind of take a look at homes that are on the canals. We looked at some lakefront homes, but now it's a little bit different. There's a ton of canals through the city, mostly on the south end of town, and we're going to take a look at them. And we're gonna have a chat with some people who live on the water on canals. So let's do that. Hey guys, how you doing? So I'm here with Alex John, who's actually a subscriber to the channel, and we kind of connected through the YouTube channel. He happens to own a house on the canal in St. Clair Shores. So I figured, what better way to talk about living on the canal than someone who actually, subscribes to the channel. So Alex, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and watching our videos and giving so much feedback. I really appreciate that. What started your journey? What made you settle on St. Clair Shores? Or not settle, what made you choose St. Clair Shores? And specifically, what made you decide to move onto the water?
Well, I think it's a nice city. It has a lot to offer. I work in the area, so that was obviously a huge factor. Between just the bars, the entertainment, and obviously the water, it seemed like a place that had a lot to offer and somewhere where I'd like to live.
You've been living here for about a year now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, cool. Exactly a year.
So in that year, what's like the most surprising thing about living on the water and the shores? What's it been for you?
Well, I mean, aside from a swan story I have for you, other than that, it's just been. It's been really great. The community, I guess, is probably one of the strongest things that I've noticed about this neighborhood. Everyone's just very, very friendly, the neighborhood, and I think the boating community, it helps kind of draw us all together.
How often do you get out on the water?
I mean, I try to at least once a week if I can. At first it was at least 2 to 3 times a week, but now that it's getting colder here, it's, we're taking our chances as many times as we can. Yeah,
I hear you there. So, I know everybody, fish fly season's a thing, but aside from being swarmed by, by insects for 2 weeks out of the year, has there been any negatives to living here on the canal?
Well, you got to be careful with the swans out there. They will attack you if you get too close, so you got some wildlife to deal with. Other than that, I mean, it is a little bit windier, I guess, over here, being that you live right across the water.
Right.
But other than that, I don't think there's too many downsides.
Awesome, man. Well, that's great to know. I'm glad to hear that too. Now you do have a DJ business as well, so why don't you talk about that a little bit?
I do. So I've been DJing for the last 16 years, actually. I do all kinds of events, weddings, bars and nightclubs. DJ Alex John, and you can find me on social media. And I actually have an event to go to tonight. We're doing a Halloween party, so it's going to be fun.
Awesome, man. Excellent. So we're going to put a link to Alex's DJ business in the video as well. That'll be down in the comments. Thanks for doing this, man. This has been great. It's been awesome to meet you, and you got a great location, great house. So hope you many years of enjoyment living here on the water.
Thank you so much, Derek. It's been a pleasure to meet you as well, and thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, man. So one of the advantages to living on the canals is there's a couple. There's many, many, many more houses on that are Canal Front in St. Clair Shores than there are that are lakefront. So you have more opportunity to find the right property, and also they tend to be a little bit more affordable. So I mean, the average sale price recently for St. Clair Shores is $260,000 roughly. You can expect to pay considerably more than that, obviously, to live on the water. Considering that waterfront homes in St. Clair Shores are just a small fraction of the homes that are available, but there's still quite a few more, and as you can see, they're generally speaking set up quite nicely. There's every canal is going to be a little bit different in terms of how long they are, how wide they are specifically, and most of them are there are different depths as well, but generally speaking. Canal front homes are going to be navigable no matter what size boat you have. It's just a matter of will your boat fit behind your home. So if not, there's many marinas to go around. But this is just a really nice example of one of the many canals on the south end of St. Clair Shores. This is kind of like towards the middle of the city. I think we are between 10 and 11 mile here. But yeah, I mean, just really, really pleasant, very nice. I mean, I suppose you can swim, you can fish. Although I don't know, you're gonna probably want to check the health advisories on Lake St. Clair before you do any of that. But that is a possibility. I mean, fishing, you can fish anytime. It's up to you to determine if the fish are safe enough to eat. But you can certainly catch and release, and I think the fish should be happier that way as well. But this is just just a gorgeous part of town. It's one of the many reasons why St. Clair Shores is such a desirable area. And as we continue to head back out onto the lake to continue south, a couple of things. It's actually quite cool. It's St. Clair Shores is quite close to Selfridge Air National Guard Base, which is located in Harrison Township. But they're one of the things that's headquartered there is the Coast Guard, and quite often you'll see Coast Guard helicopters, Coast Guard boats out on the lake doing what they do. And it was pretty neat while we were out and shooting this video. We saw one of the Coast Guard helicopters. I assume this is just an exercise, but yeah, it's always kind of interesting when there's a flyover like that, and then you can see the helicopter out in towards the middle of the lake where they're doing whatever they're doing. It was kind of neat to observe that. But as we head south, I'd like to give as much perspective as possible, give other people's different opinions of living on the water in St. Clair Shores. So without further ado, let's speak with one of my other clients who is living on the water in St. Clair Shores. So without further ado, here we go. Hey guys, so I'm here with my friend and client Diane and Benny, and thanks for doing this for us today. So a little bit of background. I know you're born and raised in St. Clair Shores, correct?
Correct.
And moved away for a while. We'll talk about that in a second. And then now you're back in the shores and living on the canal here. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your experience kind of growing up in the city?
I grew up in St. Clair Shores. I graduated from Lakeview High School. And of the 4 kids, my husband and I are the only ones that moved out of the area. And our experience with that is that people from St. Clair Shores don't like to leave the nest. So every year we'd have a birthday party or whatever. My 2 brothers would call each other, it's your turn, ask her what mile road she lives on. For a long time we lived in Macomb, we lived in Florida before. We always have been boaters, so our dream was to live on the water. There's something that the peace that you get on the water, you just can't replace it with anything else. We always knew that would be our goal, but we didn't, when we were looking at houses, we didn't see anything that interested us that we wouldn't have to do a lot of rebuilding. So
right.
We always ended up in Macomb, in a big Macomb house, and then things changed.
Since you've actually gotten to the waterfront here, what's been the biggest surprise for you?
We used to have our boat at a marina, and having your boat in your backyard you can use it more. You can come after work and go for an evening cruise and watch the sunset. Having peace 7 days a week versus 2, there's nothing better than that. So I think that's the biggest thing. And just meeting other like-minded people around us. We've met so many of our neighbors and they're just awesome. We joined Jefferson Beach Yacht Club. Same thing, a lot of boaters there, a lot of people similar in interest to ourselves. And it's been really nice. It's a community in St. Clair Shores. They do a lot of different fundraisers, and there's always something going on with the city. There's the music on the lake, the bands, there's the social district. And even my son that was really reluctant to move from Macomb, all his friends come here. And they're like, you're so lucky. This is so awesome. There's so many events in St. Clair Shores that in Macomb we didn't have.
Right.
You know, we ride our bikes everywhere. We can walk to the bar or whatever, walk to get dinner, and it's really nice. Yeah, there's definitely a piece in this community that we did not have in Macomb.
That's awesome. Yeah, 'cause my parents live in Macomb, not too far away from you, actually.
Okay.
And yeah, that just doesn't exist there. And that's one of the things that I like personally about St. Clair Shores
Right.
is that it's more of a community feel and there's a lot more events.
Absolutely. We did have to get used to the 35 miles per hour because in Macomb everything's 55. My son had to get pulled over a few times.
Uh-oh.
But I think he's got it now. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Has there been anything that maybe is less than met your expectations?
Well, you know, I'm an accountant and the taxes are high, but I get it. It's for a reason. We do live on the water and they are higher. That was a bit of a shock being in a township versus a city.
Right.
But I think it's all worth it.
Yep. The trade-off makes it worth it
Trade-off
for
is
sure.
worth it, yeah.
Super thankful for you for doing this, agreeing to do this with me. And yeah, you got a beautiful home. This is a beautiful location. And I'm happy that you're happy. So that's
Yeah, thank you. And
that's
thank you
great.
for helping us to make it happen.
That's what I'm here for. Awesome. Thanks, Diane. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And there's no way that I can do a St. Clair Shores waterfront video without including one of the most iconic buildings in the entire city, Shore Club Apartments, which is located right off of Jefferson, just south of 9 Mile. So south end of town. It is by far the tallest building in St. Clair Shores, and it's really just fantastic apartments. If you're interested, there's 24/7 security, including secure parking. They've got an Olympic-size heated swimming pool, sauna, exercise equipment, recreation facilities. Just a really nice area and a just a unbelievable view of the lake and everything around it. So I had to include that as well. But you know, as you can see, there even on the water, there's a wide variety of different styles of home, different parts of town you can be in. It's all a little bit different, but it's all equally awesome just being right there on the water. It's one of the cool features about St. Clair Shores that, you know, almost no other city can boast. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, just to show it off. And as we wrap this video up, just wanted to thank you guys again for watching, for subscribing to this channel. You guys are fantastic. Couldn't do this without you. And I love highlighting different parts of town. We live in such a cool, unique part of the world here. We've got big cities, we've got rural countryside, we've got 20% of the world's fresh water surrounding us, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Not too many places you can just poke your head out your back door and watch sailboats going by. Luckily, we live in one of those places. So, you know, if there's anything else you want to know about St. Clair Shores, Lake St. Clair, Canal Front living, anything like that, or anything at all real estate related, you can always reach out to me. Call or text anytime. My direct line is 586-491-5622. You can also reach me at 248-561-6155. Email is dwarenka@m1realty.net. And then as far as social media goes, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, I'm on it. So send me a DM. I'll respond quick. And once again, I wanted to give special thanks to Alex John for agreeing to be on this video, and for Diane as well. Really appreciate it, guys. That was amazing. I thank you so much for helping me out with this. And special thanks to Captain Shane as well, who's a client and a friend of mine. Yeah, it was spent a really nice half a day out on his boat, just cruising around St. Clair Shores. Nothing better. So glad I could finally bring you this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.